Greetings, YouTube. Wearing my official YouTube t-shirt. Over on the Papers and Pencils gaming blog, there is an article that was put up last month about discussing one of the Pathfinder classes. He's been doing an analysis of all 11 of the core classes. I have no idea if he's going to do any of the other core classes that were added later. And he covers the monk in analysis number 6. And it's the one class that the blogger says he feels doesn't have a place in the D&D game, or in this case, Pathfinder. And I've heard this kind of thing said before. Most gamers seem to think that and feel that, you know, with D&D and Pathfinder having a very solid Eurocentric vibe to it, that the very Eastern monk seems kind of like, you know, a duck out of water. And I've always loved the monk. I've always thought the monk very much fit a fantasy trope that needed to be filled. And while there's no denying that D&D and Pathfinder, all the versions of D&D, all the way back to the beginning, have definitely had a Eurocentric vibe. Look at the cleric; it's a Knights Templar. In the fact, the further we move away from that trope, the better off I think we'll be. But it is a world-spanning game, in my opinion, and the monk fills a niche that no other class can fill. Now, whether you're in Europe or Africa or North America, South America, or Australia, you can make the other core classes fit those cultures. A fighter's a fighter. Yes, the types of weapons and armors they wear, their fighting styles may vary slightly, but a fighter's a fighter. A ranger's a ranger. And arcane spellcasters are arcane spellcasters, and divine spellcasters are divine spellcasters. There are variations thereof. And I think Pathfinder has a really nice selection of classes that would emulate pretty much anything you want. But if you want to have someone that exemplifies unarmed combat, what are you going to do? You need a class that is gauged towards that trope. And I feel, of course, that the monk fits that niche perfectly. Yes, it has a distinctly Asian feel, you know, the whole Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Thai, the whole 9 yards. But it isn't exclusively, in my opinion, particularly in a fantasy world, where you can have a melding of different things. And I've particularly liked the idea that the non-human races would adopt martial art styles that had a different feel to them. For example, dwarves having a martial arts style built around stone, where their monk orders, where every monk in a monk order has a name that is stone. So you'd have Brother Obsidian and Sister Flint. And those names will be passed down from generation to generation, from one monk to the next. As one dies, a new one is elevated to that name. And you'd have weapons that were appropriate to that dwarven culture. And, you know, you have koto drumsticks as clubs, trowels as a piercing weapon, that kind of a thing. I've always felt that monk weapons needed to become more generic, in the sense that you'd have one piercing, one slashing, and one blunt, and they would have unique features attached to them, but each and every school would have different versions thereof, and every culture would have different versions thereof. They wouldn't be just the set standard monk weapons that can have the flurry of blows applied to them. And I think that there isn't enough of emphasizing how the class can be adapted and adopted by non-Eastern cultures. So, I'm here to ask the members of the YouTube RPG Brigade, do you feel the monk has a place in the game of D&D or Pathfinder? Do you feel it sticks out too much, that it's the proud nail that needs to be hammered down? I'm a fan of the class. I think it has a place. I think there are some things about it that I would tweak. For example, I would just say non-chaotic alignment. Would not require them to be lawful. There are other philosophical views that I think are completely appropriate to the monastic view of the world that doesn't have to be all about law. You could be neutral good. You could be neutral evil. All right? You just can't be chaotic. I think that makes a lot more sense, but that's just me. But by and large, I like the different abilities they have. I think they give a nice variety of things they can do, and the author of this, the blogger here, does a really nice analysis on all the classes, so I'd suggest go reading what he says about the other ones as well. And I'm just interested in hearing what the RPG Brigade here on YouTube has to say.